The views and opinions expressed in this content do not reflect those of 850 WFT.
In South Florida, and we're live on YouTube on our Condo, Craze, and HOAs channel. I'm Karen Curtis, and I'm here again today with attorney Eric Glazer from Glazer & Sachs, PA. Eric is board certified by the Florida Bar on Condominium and Plan Development Law. He has a firm with attorneys in Fort Lauderdale and Orlando, and we're here each week to answer all your calls and emails or chat questions from their YouTube channel about what makes life in your condominium or HOA absolutely crazy from one week to the next. And we'd love to get the phone lines going early, so you can go to the YouTube chat box or give us a call at 877-850-8585. It's toll-free anywhere in the state, the country, or the world. 877-850-8585. Again, you can visit us on the Condo Craze and HOAs channel on YouTube and ask your question in the chat box. Eric.
Hey, good morning, everybody. How are you? And if you're a fan of the show, don't forget to do two things, like Karen said. Check us out on the YouTube, on the Condo Craze channel on YouTube. You can watch the show live, but not only that, you can watch all of our prior shows if you missed it, like a podcast. And, of course, join our email list by going to condocrazeandhoas.com. By joining each week, like I say, you're going to get emails about the show, our blog, our free seminars. They're coming up already. Our newsletters, updates on the law, and a whole lot more. And, of course, we do a blog every Monday morning at HOA-condoblog.com. Again, HOA-condoblog.com. Tomorrow's topic, let's go to the numbers. A realistic look at just how few condominiums have money in reserves. Ooh. This is actually a sad, sad situation. But talking about sad, before we get going, today is September 11th.
That's right.
And the 21st anniversary of the worst terrorist attack on American soil to ever occur. It happened in my hometown, and of course, it changed most of our lives forever. So I'd like to have just a few moments of silence for the nearly 3,000 victims before we get going today. I think we owe them at least that. All right, thank you very much, everybody, for understanding just how important that is to me. And, okay, let's get going. A few weeks ago on the Condo Craze and HOA's radio show, I was actually sent a chart by a listener that showed that under 50% of condominiums were actually funding a reserve account in full each month. Well, guess what? It turns out that as I was broadcasting the information, I felt this sounds a little high.
Yeah, half,
and,
right,
yeah, and it turned out I was referring to a national chart of condominiums, and then Barry sent me another chart, and it was something like in Florida.
Wait, how bad is it?
How bad it? You're not going to believe it. In something like in Florida, it's like 5%.
No.
Yeah, Florida's apparently much worse off, 5%, 10%, and that's not good. And I got to tell you, it's scary that owners did not put away money for a roof, pavement, and painting.
They didn't have to, so they didn't do
Exactly. But they thought it cost too much money, and starting January 1st, 2025, that budget must include reserves for now 10 categories after a structural reserve study is done by an architect or engineer. What a rude awakening is coming.
Yeah, and so you have to have the reserve study by an architect or engineer, which everyone's going to be busy because everyone's got to do it.
Yep.
And it's not by the board, right? It's by these experts. It can't be done
by a former cab drivers and teachers and, all of that anymore. It's going to be done by experts. And
so even if you're fully funded and your board was the one that did it, you still have to have the architect and engineer.
Yeah, correct, right. You're not going to be fully. There's very few that are fully funded.
Okay. Don't even worry about it.
Very few. That means, that term fully funded gets bounced around a lot. What it means starting January 1st, 2025 is when you do your reserve study and the engineer tells you, okay, your roof has 5 years left. It means that over the next, you have to fully fund that reserve account each year so that in 5 years you have enough money for a new roof.
Yeah.
Now, if an engineer comes in and says, like, a lot of your components are going to need fixing a lot of right away in the next few years, you got a big problem on your hands, financially. And but the question is this: do you have nobody to blame but yourself, right? And it always irked me that owners waive reserves because they thought they might not be living in the condo 20 years from now.
Oh,
so why fund the
it'll
roof?
be their problem.
You know, why fund the plumbing? Why fund the painting, right?
It's like Social Security.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
I won't need it.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. So the problem with that argument is that, the people who lived in your unit 20 years ago thought the same way that you're thinking now,
Exactly.
and you got stuck with their big bill, and because they did not fully fund
Right.
and put away for the future.
Exactly. Even if they put away, half of a properly funded reserve account each month, none of you who live in a 3-story or higher condo would be facing just absolutely tremendous financial issues that are heading your way. And I always like to kind of repeat this for the last few shows, just to remind everybody what's coming quickly. If your building is 75 feet or higher, you need to have either fire sprinklers or an engineered life safety system. And guess when that's due? January 1st, 2024.
Whoa.
Karen, that's only 15 months
Hey,
from now.
yeah, it's right around the corner.
And that could cost 7 figures. I mean, this is what's coming all at once. If your building is 3 stories or higher, you have to have the building undergo a Phase 1 inspection by an architect or engineer by December 31st, 2024.
Did the state send out a letter to all of the condos
No.
to the board
It's
saying,
a great-
here's what you need,
Karen,
right?
that is a
Shouldn't
great
they-
question.
And a
Not
return
only-
receipt requested
Wait,
so that you got it.
Wait, not only are they not doing that, and what they don't have money to do it, only like, an extra $20 million, so it's ridiculous, right?
Wait, that's how much it would cost to
No, I'm
send-
joking. I'm saying they
Oh.
have so much extra money to do
I
this.
know!
You would think that this
That-
is something that should be sent to every
That
condo.
condo's paid for, yes.
There isn't, you're right, that the condo's paid for. There isn't even anything suggested or
Why
planned.
don't you suggest that they come up, or
Hey,
you could write the letter for
we
them?
suggested last week that the DBPR have a whole new branch dedicated to all this, right?
Yeah, but
Well,
get a
let's-
letter out there
right.
so these people know.
Know what's coming, right?
Yeah, not everybody's listening to your radio show.
And instead, they took away the requirement for education for board
education.
members.
So
It's-
let's do all this stuff and plop it all on top of them, but not tell them about
and
it.
then potentially hold them individually liable.
Right.
Remember, they put that in the statute too. All right,
They
let's
need
keep-
they need to give them notice, because then you can argue I didn't know.
Of course. Well, you know what? Ignorance of the law.
I know,
Never an
that's not a
excuse,
good
right?
one.
It's
Yeah.
terrible. But
Yeah.
all right, let's keep going. All this is coming up, right? So we just said if 3 stories or higher, Phase 1 by an architect or engineer by December 31st, 2024. You know that Phase 1 guy is going to find some sort of a problem,
Guaranteed.
right? Guaranteed, right? So then you're going to have to go undergo a Phase 2 inspection by an architect or engineer, and whatever that architect or engineer says need to be fixed, you will need to fix it, right? And you'll need to fix it timely, right? You'll also need a structural integrity reserve study done by a Florida architect or engineer by December 31st, 2024.
Does all of this cost money?
Oh my God, my God. And then you have to start fully funding that structural integrity reserve account starting January 1st, 2025, and you can't waive your reserves anymore. Think about everything we just said. I mean, it's unbelievable.
I mean, ladies and gentlemen, your bill is due. And if you kick the can down the road and avoided necessary assessments, the funding of a reserve account, and necessary repairs,
Yeah, it's on you.
Your time's up.
Yeah, your time is up. And, under Florida law, and as a tribute to the 98 victims at the Champlain Towers in Surfside, these laws they really do all they can to ensure another tragedy does not happen again. But here's the question of the day to our listeners. What is your plan? I haven't heard anybody tell me, what is your plan now that you know these massive costs are coming? There's no doubt about it. And, if you don't think you're gonna
Plan,
be
they
able
don't
to
even know
afford
what's
it-
coming.
Yeah, well, the listeners of this show certainly do. And if you don't think you're going to be able to afford it, now is the time to try and sell and either move to an HOA or a condo or a townhome that's less than 3 stories. Like I said, something like a townhome. What do
Yeah.
you do? It's pretty
Wow.
crazy.
Sharing your plan online is going to help promote others, though, to think about, what they need to do. So, waiting for the last minute when special assessments are already passed and massive construction is necessary, like was the case at
Yeah.
Surfside.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah, along with fully funded reserve accounts. Well, it may be impossible
Right.
for you to sell your
Yeah,
unit
if you
right
wait
now.
till the last second, it may be impossible to sell your unit because none of these things have taken place yet.
Yeah,
What are you
as
going to do?
a buyer-
You going to wait till January 1st, 2025
No.
to sell? And then
And
it's
as a
too late.
buyer, your first question should be, are you fully funded?
Right. I mean, all these things happen, by January 1st, 25. So the longer if you can't afford it, the longer you wait to sell is going to make it very difficult for you to sell your unit. And again,
the maintenance will be higher than the mortgage.
Yeah, correct. That's very possible.
That's a detractor.
Right. And by the way, mortgage rates are inching up. They're in the 6s already. It's just, it's really.
It's a perfect storm.
It's unbelievable, Karen. Never mind insurance.
Oh, that's
insurance
right.
Is absolutely out of control.
Crazy.
But if you can't afford it, no doubt, you wind up being foreclosed on, and you may wind up losing your condo. So, I'd love to hear everybody's plan. What do you think? Where are you going? What are you doing? Are you going to stick it out? Is your building in good shape? If it's not in good shape, though, financially, tell me what you're going to do. We want to hear from our listeners. We want to know what our listeners think. And just give us a call right here in the studio, 877-850-8585. Again, 877-850-8585. Or go to the Condo Craze and HOH channel on YouTube. And
Oh, no! An unexpected leak. Jay, you know that's no way to solve a roof problem. Call Best Roofing. We solve roof problems.
We are DMI Paving and Seal Coating, Florida's parking lot experts. We specialize in asphalt paving and repair, including pothole repair, seal coating using JC7 or polytar, concrete curbs, ramps, and walkways, and striping and pavement marking, as well as ADA compliance. We service commercial properties, including homeowners associations, apartment communities, shopping malls, warehouses, stadiums and arenas, and more. Experience is worth more than anything in an industry like ours, and our staff has decades of it. We have specialized equipment for any job, regardless of size, saving you time and money. DMI has a reputable history. We have been in business since 1956. We serve the state of Florida from 6 locations. Let us bid on your next parking lot project. Visit us online at dmipavingandsealcoating.com.
There are very large management companies, and there are very small management companies, and I think Affinity sits somewhere in the middle of that, where they are big enough to provide you with all of the back-of-the-house services, the accounting, the infrastructure, the support systems, but small enough to be high touch.
We believe at Affinity that we do the 9 to 5 so that you don't have to do that.
Karen Curtis with attorney Eric Glazer, and he has a law firm that specializes in community association law. With everything going on right now, he is the guy you need to ask him a question now on the phone, 877-850-8585. Go to our YouTube channel and ask us a question in the chat box there, because there is a lot that you need to know about, and if you have any questions, right now is the time to ask them, right, Eric?
Karen, yeah, you're not kidding. Karen, and I forgot to talk about in the opening segment a pretty crazy story that you sent me during the week about a crazy condo president.
Yeah, so if you are in a condo and you're a female and you have a silk flower arrangement in your bedroom,
and you're renting, yeah, right. And
run in there right now, and you're renting, and check inside between the leaves and see if there's some sort of a camera with a thumb drive in there hooked up to, oh my God. So this Flagler County Sheriff's Office, they have arrested the president of a condo association. He installed a video camera inside a resident's bedroom without her permission.
And gets arrested for it. He did what he did to 3 different people, I think.
Yeah. And so they found the video, and there's video of him in his own house on the
Right,
video.
that's how they caught it. Yeah, and they actually, the guy videoed himself, putting up the cameras and doing
Yeah.
the actual, installation. And people say,
Installation.
can you imagine that?
59-year-old Robert Orr.
Real bright, and he's the president. He should be removed as president for just being that stupid alone, right?
Right,
To
so-
video himself, to video himself actually putting it in the plants. I mean, how
Yeah,
dumb could you be?
Here's a quote from the sheriff, Rick Staley. He goes, "This pervert installed video cameras in a condo that was a caretaker for, for people, and they didn't know about it."
Isn't it crazy? Jen?
Yeah.
I want to know this, though. Here's the question. Why is it, though, that it's always a man bugging a woman's unit, and not one time ever when we do all these stories is it a woman bugging a man's unit? Let me tell you something. A woman bugs, like, my hotel unit and stuff, and I find out about it. She puts in a camera. I'm not calling the cops. I'm calling her. Right? I mean, you never see it the other way around. I just don't get it.
Well, this guy faces 4 felonies.
Unbelievable. How about
Yeah.
we go to the phones? Our first call of the day. Barry, how are you, Barry, from Miami?
Good. Hi, Karen. Hi, Eric.
How are
Hey,
you?
hey.
Good. Suppose a condominium has waived reserves every year, and with regard to their roof, on December 31st, 2024, the roof is going to have 5 years of remaining useful life left out of 20.
Right.
The roof has been in existence for 15 years. There's another 5 years left at December 31st, 2024. I just would like you to go over, in the beginning you mentioned that you have to start funding reserves starting 1/1/25, and I agree with that.
Right.
But I just want you to go over what happens at 12/31/24
Right.
with regard to this group. This condominium is on your chart at the lowest end. So
Okay.
they have 0% reserves. That's where this condominium
Okay.
is. Do they have to make up all those years where they didn't fund for the roof, or do they start on 1/1/25 going forward?
Here's how I see it, okay? When they do the budget that goes into effect on 1/1/25, right? Again, they need to fully fund reserves. So they're already going to have their reserve study. And let's say it comes back exactly like you said. They have a roof with a 5-year life expectancy. That's it, only 5 years left. And that's what they know when they do the budget on January 1st, 2025. All right, how much is it going to cost to replace the roof in 5 years? And again, I'm going to oversimplify it. It's going to cost $100,000 5 years from now to replace the roof. And again, it only has a 5-year life expectancy, and we're going to need the $100,000 in 5 years. So no question in my mind, the way I read the statute is, for the next 5 years, each year, this association is putting $20,000 away for the roof. And that's a lot of money to be putting away each year towards the roof. And not only are they going to do that with the roof, Barry, they're going to have to do that same analysis with all the other 9 or 10 components of the new statute. Foundation, flooring, plumbing, electricals, etc. If the electrical only has 5 years remaining in its life expectancy, same thing. They're going to have to fully fund that within 5 years. Plumbing only has a 5-year life expectancy. They're going to have to fully fund that within 5 years. That's what I believe goes into effect January 1st, 2025.
That means big financial
Oh,
problems.
no
for
question about it.
Many condominiums.
There, Barry, I hear you. There's no question there's big financial problems coming. No question. But listen, I don't want to, constantly attack the unit owners who, love and watch the show. But the reality is, had the unit owners been, remotely, slightly, cognizant of what's going to happen to them if they don't put money away for a rainy day, we wouldn't be dealing with such a terrible situation. And look, for those condos who have been doing the right thing, right, who have been putting money away for a rainy day, when this goes into effect on January 1st, 2025, if those condos have been fully funding reserves and have been hiring experts to do their reserve study, nothing happens to them on January 1st, 2025. Everything stays the same. Nothing goes up. The only people that need to be worried about this is the people that kept kicking the can down the road. You know what I'm saying? If you've been doing the right thing, then none of this really applies to you. You're okay. But if you haven't, I'm sorry. As Karen said earlier, guess what? Your bill has come due. How long can you keep kicking the can down the road? And we're not going to let another building collapse. But I hope that answers your question, Barry. And please know how much I appreciate. And by the way, Barry, I appreciate the chart that you sent me. Barry's the one that sent me the chart that said, Eric, no, you're way off. There's like 5 or 10% of the condos that are fully funded in Florida. Barry, it's scary.
It really, really is. Eric, can I just say one more thing?
Yeah, sure.
I agree with you like 99% of the time.
Yeah.
But I also put blame on the board. The board
no question.
did not have to present an alternative budget to let the unit owners waive reserve. They wore two hats, and the hat they were wearing was their personal hat, not their board membership hat.
You are so right.
And they, I think, are also at blame. I don't know who's more at blame or whatever, but they also have to take some.
Barry, you are so right, and I appreciate that. I want to explain to everybody what you just mean. The law has always been when the board does a budget each year, they have to show the budget with fully funded reserves. That's their only requirement, is to send out a budget with fully funded reserves. They are under no requirement whatsoever to give the unit owners a choice to reduce the reserves or to waive reserves fully. But Barry is saying, well, what did the boards do? They could have just sent out a fully funded reserve budget. Instead, they gave the unit owners the choice to completely waive reserves, and a lot of the blame about what's going on here is on every board whoever sent out an opportunity for the unit owners to waive full funding of reserves. And you know what? You can't argue with that. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that comment, Barry. How about we go to Ruth in Tallahassee?
Hey, Ruth.
Hey, Eric.
Hi, Ruth. How are you?
How are you this morning, Eric?
Okay.
I'm good. So I have 3 questions for you. I'll try to make it quick.
Sure.
So a question I have for you, as you know, we are being harassed by owners on a regular basis every month. And the question I have is, when they're making all these document demands and questions, if we have to go to an attorney, are we allowed to put the bill for the attorney on their account?
No, you're not. You're not. And when you say you're harassed, by repeated requests, there is a law both for condos and for HOAs that say you can make reasonable rules and regulations regarding requests for records. So, to say something like, okay, we're going to let you do it, and the statute allows you to do it, 10 days. So we'll allow you to do it 3 times a month, but we'll limit your request to, let's say, 3 items in each request. I think that's something that the DBPR may uphold. Okay? I think that's something that's pretty reasonable. Because to completely bombard an association every month with dozens, or some people do, hundreds of requests, no, I don't think that's reasonable of the unit owner to expect that they're allowed to do that every month. And I think a condo or an HOA can make a reasonable rule or regulation limiting access if it's done right. Okay?
Okay. So the 3 items, we still have to, we just did new rules for inspection requests because of these guys.
Right.
And the question I have is, do we do an amendment to the rules that we just passed? And do we have to then wait another 30 days for that 3-item limit to be understood by everybody before it goes in force?
If it's a rule, you got to adopt the rule, right, at a properly noticed meeting. Right. Now, it doesn't have to do with unit use, so I don't think it needs like a 14-day notice, a 30-day notice, nothing like that. I think it can just be a 48-hour notice, quite frankly. But and that's all you need to do, period. 48-hour notice on the rule, and it goes into effect immediately. And by the way, guys, there is no requirement anymore in an HOA to record the rules in the county where the property is located. That rule has been, that provision of the statutes has been taken away. Let's put it that way.
So, Eric, are you certain about this 48 hours? For some reason, we were told that we had to give everybody full notice. It had to be a 2-week notice because it is a rule that affects what an owner can do, and then we
No,
were
no,
told we had to wait a whole 30 days.
No, I don't think no, I don't believe you have to do that at all. Absolutely not. I think it would go into effect. Well, if requests have already been filed with you, right? Certainly those requests go under the old rule. But any new request that you get for records going forward, absolutely your new rule would apply. Why wouldn't it?
Who's telling you that that's what's going on?
Yeah, I don't think.
Where are you getting this advice?
Yeah.
You know,
Well, she's
I
in
cannot
Tallahassee.
remember-
God knows where she's getting the advice from.
Huh?
You're in Tallahassee. I mean, it's pretty simple for you to go talk with the DBPR, right?
Well, I'm just here for the week.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
from St. Thomas,
Gotcha.
as you know.
We're not talking to one of those government employees, are we? No, we're not. Definitely not. Even
No,
though she's in Tallahassee.
But so, and again, do we have to make an addendum to the current rules that we've already made about documents?
Not an addendum. You're just passing a new rule.
That's it.
That's
Okay.
it. You're just passing a new rule.
Passing a new rule.
All right. I know you had another question.
Okay. I do. So if there is money left over at the end of the year, you were saying in your last show that it cannot be rolled over. Do we get taxed on that money?
No.
because
I'm
there's a
saying.
surplus in the
I'm saying just the opposite. I'm saying the opposite. And Mr. Atlas just sent me a text that the word I was looking for was repealed. Thank you, Mr. Atlas. Embarrassing me on my own show. Okay, anyway, no, the money can roll over, but what do you do with that money? The money is used, right? The money is used to put in your operating account and is used to reduce the amount of the assessments of the unit owners going forward. So I'm going to try to make this easy. Let's say your annual budget is $200,000, but at the end of this year, you have $100,000 left over. You can roll that $100,000 left over, but it's got to be applied, right, to next year's assessments. So instead of hitting everybody up for $350, you can hit everybody up for $175. Because you can use
the money.
supposed to be used for. That's called surplus, okay? And those surplus funds should be used to, again, to reduce the assessments going forward next year. Okay? That's the unit owner's money. That doesn't just stay there. That's your money.
Right.
Okay?
Okay. Got it.
All right, Ruth,
Okay.
we got to keep going. Okay?
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Eric.
so
I
much.
appreciate it.
Real quick, Linda in Lake Worth.
Yes, good morning,
Hey,
Eric
Lynn.
and Karen.
Hi.
I do have a quick question about, I hate this subject, emotional support animals.
Oh, popular.
Oh, God.
I have a board member that wants me to find someone because the boyfriend is walking the dog. Now, I tried to explain to him that she could be sick, or even a neighbor could walk the dog if she's not well.
There's a
It's
rule?
not, you know.
There's no rule that says
I just try to tell him that there is no rule.
Well,
I mean, you know, and he's making a big stink out of
well,
this.
let me
you know,
explain to you
and
for
I
a
said,
second.
You know what?
Yeah. Let me explain to you a second what could happen to you if you wind up issuing a fine to that unit or unit owner because the boyfriend is walking the dog.
Oh,
you can
yeah.
wind up sitting at the defense table
Bad
in a
idea.
federal courtroom.
Yep.
Okay? So that is absolutely not
that's
what you
what I
want to do.
said.
Yeah, I mean, just you said it best. Suppose the person's too sick to walk the animal, right?
But tell her the good news as well that that dog can go anywhere that person.
That person can that
Right.
dog can go anywhere that unit owner is allowed to go.
The pool.
Right, exactly. Anywhere. Just except not in the pool.
Not in the pool, but
Except
the pool.
not in but the pool deck. Absolutely.
Not in the pool.
But tell that other board member that they are absolutely wrong, and if he really wants to subject the association to a serious lawsuit, to go find that unit. That's the absolute worst thing that could be done.
Maybe the owner needs the dog for emotional support because of mobility
Exactly.
issues.
Exactly.
Hello.
Exactly.
Yes.
Worst thing you could do.
I know.
Okay.
My dad's blind.
Thank
He
you
can't
so
see.
much.
Yeah.
Linda, thank you so much. Let's do this. Let's take our bottom of the hour break. Taking your calls in the studio, 877-850-8585, 877-850-8585, or go to the and click on Condo Craze and HOAs and ask your questions in the chat box. We'll be back right after this.
Is your condominium or HOA in need of accounting services? Look no further. Gerstel, Rosen & Goldenberg is one of South Florida's largest accounting and auditing firms, as recognized by the South Florida Business Journal, and is one of the few accounting firms uniquely specialized to provide accounting services to their growing condominium and homeowner association clientele throughout Florida. With primary offices in Aventura and Boca Raton, satellite offices in Naples and Orlando, and a professional staff of 65, Gerstel, Rosen & Goldenberg is prepared to meet the needs of any condominium or HOA in the state. The professionals at Gerstel, Rosen & Goldenberg also have experience working with timeshares, cooperatives, hotel condominiums, mixed-use buildings, and ancillary operations like restaurants, spas, and country clubs. Put their 25 years experience in your corner. Gerstel, Rosen & Goldenberg, 305-937-0116. That's 305-937-0116 or grgcpa.com.
Someday, you will need insurance. And for that day, you'll be glad you wrote down Insurco Insurance and Financial Services. Why? Because Insurco virtually insures everything. They're a full-line insurance agency that'll put together the best possible coverage and premium for almost anything. Need homeowners or condo insurance? Call Insurco. Need auto or motorcycle insurance? Call Insurco. How about golf cart insurance or trailer and RV insurance? Just call Insurco for a free quote. They're open every day. From renters insurance, officers and directors insurance, and personal liability umbrellas to all types of business insurance, boat insurance, cancer policies, life, health, and annuities. All you need is Insurco. Get a free quote. They service Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. Speak English and Spanish. Insurco Insurance and Financial Services. It's the only name you need. Office at 14401 West Sunrise Boulevard in Sunrise, inside Edmore Chevrolet.
Call 954-846-1206. 954-846-1206. That's 954-846-1206.
Need an insurance evaluation, audit, or quotation for your condo association or homeowners association? If so, then you need to speak with our insurance experts at Mack & Waltz. We insure over 800 associations, and we are the clear leader in this marketplace. Mack & Waltz has been in business since 1989. We write insurance on billions of dollars of property values. We are an independent insurance agency representing insurance companies which specialize in condo and HOA insurance. The staff at Mack & Waltz works closely with board members and property managers and regularly attends association meetings to help educate the association about their insurance policies. To learn more about how Mack & Waltz can save you money and improve your insurance program, call now 954-640-6225 and ask for Greg Waltz. 954-640-6225. Mack & Waltz Insurance Group. Let us protect your association.
Welcome back to Condo Craze and HOAs here on 850 WFTL. It's September 11th. And we are obviously we took a moment of silence at the top of the show, but just continue to give our support to those we are lost. 21 years ago.
Amazing, right?
I can't believe
incredible.
it.
Actually, you know what? When I think about it, it actually seems like another lifetime.
It does.
My daughter was a little baby. I picked her up from school,
Yes,
so,
we all did.
And now, and now she's an adult. So
yes, teaching little babies.
Exactly. It's teaching little babies.
So
right.
funny.
It's another world. But
and if you want to give
lifetime
us a call, 877-850-8585. We're also on our YouTube channel. You can ask a question in the chat box there.
Let's
Condo
go
Craze
there.
and HOAs.
Yep. Let's go to the chat box. Robert Listman writes in, developers are salivating.
Oh, yeah.
You are so right. By the way, let's talk about Robert for a second. This show would not exist if not for Robert Listman. Robert is a gentleman who saw me doing a presentation one day and said, Eric, I got an idea for you. How about doing the show on YouTube? And Robert set the whole thing up, and none of this happens if not for Robert. And if you want to actually see who Robert is, Robert and I will be on 60 Minutes when the show actually comes out.
You're able to say it.
And
good. I was going to say.
Yeah, we're waiting for it. It's either going to be this month or next month. We're not 100% sure.
But the interview's been done.
The interview's been done for both me and Robert. And
Robert, you're going to be the last part with the tick, tick, tick.
We don't know, but we'll see. We'll see. But Robert, can't thank you enough, my friend. Thank you so much. But you're right. Developers are salivating. Developers are going to be looking to buy your unit for cheap. It's already happening. So be careful. Like I said, if you know you're not going to be able to afford it, I think the deal right now is sell. Try to get as much as you can. because if you wait, a developer may buy it out, and I can promise you it's not going to be for the amount that you can get for your unit now. Okay, let's say Ryan Craig Martin writes in. Board member took out a $2 million undisclosed loan. Board uncontested for 7+ years. President is the mom of the property manager. Won't give up financial statements after 3 certified requests. DBPR does not help. Well, let me tell you this. DBPR should help, and I'll tell you why. If you can prove that you sent a request for records by certified mail twice, the DBPR has subpoena power now. Okay? The DBPR can, I think that statute even says shall issue a subpoena for the records. So I would not give up. When you say the DBPR doesn't help, I would tell them, well, you have an obligation now to issue a subpoena from your office to get those records. And I think, they should, and I think they will if you push the right buttons, quite frankly. Kathy writes in, there's a designated amount. I just lost her. There's a designated amount listed in our monthly budget going into reserves. Good. But our condo board keeps half out for special projects, landscaping, etc. Is this legal? Of course not.
What?
No, absolutely. Your budget says the reserves are to be funded a certain amount. They can't take half out, put it on the side, and use it for special projects of their choosing. No, absolutely not legal. All right, back to the phones. Let's go to, is it Sebo in Port St. Lucie? Sebo? Celso. I'm sorry, Celso. How are you?
Celso. Yeah, I'm doing great. How about you guys?
Okay, how can we help?
Okay. So I have a quick question. I am trying to sell my deceased sister condo, and I found out now that there were some violations in the condo, according to the rules of the HOA. So one of the violations is that almost 30 years ago, half the bathroom was converted to a full bathroom, and now that is against regulations, against the rules. Okay, so even though there was a permit issued by the city at the time, which is 1994, my question is it worth it for me to fight this, the board, the HOA on this?
So
because
I had
it's gonna cost me a lot of money to fix it.
Yeah, I had an interesting case as a mediator a couple of weeks ago. And what it boiled down to is a very similar situation like yours. And there's a case out there that says, well, they can't, this is very interesting. The association cannot force you, because there's a statute of limitations issue now. You did this 30 years ago. The association cannot force you to put the bathroom back in the condition that they believe that the bathroom should be in, because that statute of limitations has been blown a long time ago. However,
whoever buys a condo.
Wait, but the association never loses the right for them to go in and put back the condo in the condition that they believe it needs to be in order to be safe. Okay? So even though you did this 30 years ago, you can tell them, guys, you want to do it, you do it. You can't force me to do it. That's actually the extent of the law.
Can they prevent me selling it or renting it?
Can they prevent you from selling it or renting it? If they think it's unsafe, but you're telling me it's permitted, right?
It was a permit issue in 1994.
Okay, if the permit was issued and signed off on and closed, no, I don't think there's any reason for them to prevent you from renting it or selling it. Okay?
Okay, do I need an attorney to get this fixed, or can I do it myself?
Well, that's up to you, buddy. It depends how hard they want to fight you. You need help off the air, you need help off the air, 954-983-1112, 954-983-1112. Good luck, Celso. How about we go to David in Delray? How are you, David?
Hello.
Hey, Dave. How are you?
Fine. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure thing.
If we want to change from a single, an individual reserve account to a group reserve account, is that still possible?
It will be for the next 2 years. The way I read the statute, starting January 1st, 2025, for those 10 items that are in your structural integrity reserve account, meaning the roof, meaning the plumbing, meaning the electrical, the flooring, all those things that are in the 10-part structural integrity reserve study, No, those things have to be individually funded, and you can't borrow from one category to pay for a shortfall in another, meaning you can't have a pooled reserve account for those items. Now, there's certain things that are not in that structural integrity reserve study, such as the elevators, such as maybe the tennis courts, a bunch of other things. Can you have a pooled reserve account for those items? Yes, you can. Anything that's not in the structural integrity reserve study, but you're still reserving for, those things you can pool for. But the 10 items in the structural integrity reserve study, no, you can't. I know it's a little complicated, but that is what I believe the correct answer to your question. Okay, Dave?
Okay. How do you go about changing it?
How do you go about changing which type of reserve you're going to use?
Yeah.
Vote of the board.
If you're in a
Vote of the board. The board can take a vote and says, okay, we've been using straight line. We want to go to pooled. The problem is, what do you do with the money? What do you do with the money that's already in the account? You can't move that money without a vote of the unit owners, because that would be using the money for purposes other than for which they were originally intended.
Which do you like, Eric, better, a straight line or pooled?
Pooled gives you a lot more flexibility.
There you go.
Right? Gives you a lot more flexibility. And sometimes, depending upon if your major repairs are way out into the future, then you don't even have to include them in the pooled reserve study, and you wind up saving a lot of money.
Oh.
So, there's a lot of advantages to using the pooled, but I can tell you the problem with using it, is if you borrow from it to fix something and now there's not enough money to do your roof, right? So, and the statute now is going to make sure that that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
so
the paint job looks great, but the roof is leaking.
Yeah. So starting again January 1st, 2025, no more pooled reserves for most of your main items, the main meat and potatoes that you're reserving for. Okay? Hope that answers your question, Dave. We definitely have to go to our final break of the hour. You got it. Taking your calls, don't wait till the last second because people get hung up on. 877-850-8585. 8585, or the Condo Craze channel on YouTube. We'll be back right after this.
Is your home or condo looking old, worn out, and in need of a fresh look? Then you need PD Painting to paint your property and make it look like new again. PD Painting will first properly prepare your home and condo and then use only the highest quality paint products. After many years in the painting industry, PD Painting has achieved a reputation for always delivering a reliable and professional finish. PD Painting is fully licensed and insured and offers a 7 to 10-year warranty. Their technicians are expert craftsmen. Let PD Painting handle all the details and then sit back and watch them restore your property and bring back that brand new look and feel. Need a service call? PD Painting will be there on the spot. Need financing? PD Painting can offer that too. Call PD Painting at 888-416-3204. Again, that's 888-416-3204. Go to the website pdpaintinginc.com. Need painting done in your home and community? Contact the experts at PD Painting.
This message is for anyone who has taken on the important responsibility of becoming an officer or director in a homeowner or condominium association. It is also for the management companies who work closely with these caring people to make sure things are done the right way. Hello, I'm Gil Pomar, South Florida Regional President for Center State Bank, now the second largest bank based in Florida. Our bank, Center State Bank, has an amazing team of professionals who are exclusively dedicated to the homeowner and condo association market. Your job is not easy. There are repairs and new projects that need financing. There are legal and social issues that need to be understood. There are also technology and servicing issues that your residents want to be improved. Why not choose a bank that knows this business backward and forward? Why not have a local banker who will meet with you face-to-face whenever it is convenient for you or your board? Center State Bank has over 2,000 associations as customers for a reason. Please give us a chance to earn your business. Call Terry Russo at 954-633-1666 to make it happen. Center State Bank is an equal housing lender and a member of the FDIC.
All over the world, people have plumbing problems. These problems can be expensive and destructive to fix. Have you ever wondered if there was a way to take care of your plumbing problems without destruction and an outrageous price tag? Welcome to Pipelining Technologies, Inc., where we specialize in fixing your problems without demolition and minimum cutting by means of pipelining. Pipelining is the ability to take a pipe damaged by root intrusion or long-term deterioration and make it new. By means of inserting an epoxy-saturated liner into the pipe and allowing it to harden or cure, leaving behind a brand new pipe.
That sounds great. How can I get pipelining in my home, commercial building, or condominium?
Simply fill out our online contact form and a pipelining representative will get in touch with you in a timely fashion, or call us directly at 561-853-5463.
Association law. Yes, that's you if you're living in a condo, HOA, or co-op. And if you have a question about all the new laws that passed and what you need to know, give us a call, 877-850-8585. Don't wait to the end of the show.
Do not like Tom from Canada. How are you, Tom?
Good morning.
How are you?
Good, thanks. I have a question regarding a sale of a property.
Yes.
If a board received, first of all, we've had our 50-year inspection, and we have a major assessment coming up in the next 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
We've also added a reserve fund to our next year's budget.
Good.
If you have a buyer that wants to buy who's on a disability and the income is not really there for the future,
Right.
and also has a poor credit rating, how do we handle that?
Okay, so you have to look, and I teach this type of a situation at every seminar that I teach, a whole section on whether or not you have the right to screen, approve, and reject. And you handle it by first looking at your own declaration of condominium. Do you even have the ability to approve, screen, and reject? Right? What do your documents say? Some associations think that just because they're an association, they have the ability to screen, approve, and reject somebody.
So there's not a standard thing.
If
we do have approval by the board.
Okay. Does it have anything in there, okay, about what you need to think about? What's the criteria for?
No.
Okay. So there's a case out there that says if a board can reject, for no reason or any reason, right? Any reason it deems sufficient, then if the board rejects that seller, that buyer, or that renter, then the board has to rent that unit or buy that unit as the same term is being offered. So, before I give you an answer on whether or not, you can reject somebody, I got to take a look at those documents. And if there's absolutely no criteria, and if it doesn't require that the board can reject for cause, right? The board can only reject for cause. So I'd feel better if the word cause was in there. I'd feel even better than that if you had criteria in there.
And do you have to tell the person why they were rejected?
In Dade and Broward, there's a specific county ordinance that requires you to notify the person that's being rejected as to why they're being rejected. Good question,
Wow.
Karen. Yeah, no other counties have that, but Dade and Broward do.
If this person buys, and then we have to lien the property because we can't afford the assessment.
Well, you'll lien it, when and if they become delinquent. That's right.
Okay.
But maybe what you want to do is you learned a lesson now, and going forward, you want to talk to counsel for the association and say, hey, how do we amend our documents to allow us to reject somebody that obviously can't afford to live here? Okay?
Okay.
All right, thanks for the
thank
call.
you very much.
All right, International Day, huh, from Canada.
Yeah, I love
All right,
it.
John in the Panhandle. That's almost the same thing.
Oh.
John, how are you?
You're not in Mexico Beach, are you?
Good.
Where are you, John?
No, we're over near Pensacola.
Okay.
Bar Beach. Hi, Eric and Karen.
Hi.
Thank you for listening.
I
How
think
can we
that's
help?
great. How you doing? So we're at a 54-unit condo on the Bar Beach, and we requested financial documents, reserve studies, invoices from our association, but they haven't sent them. It's the next step to file a complaint with the DVP.
You did that as a resident or a new buyer?
As a resident.
Okay, so you're an owner. How did you ask for the documents? Did you ask for it in writing?
Yes, certified return receipt
Okay.
With the page where you get to ask.
So as I was saying before, if you do it, twice and there's no answer by certified mail, the DBPR has subpoena power. Okay, but at the same token, you have the right to actually file an arbitration action against the association. So your first letter said, okay, what did it say? Did it say give me access? You need to.
It's a form where you have a list of things that you're asking for.
Okay.
And on that list.
And who made up that form?
We basically. It's one I actually found over the internet, but I did later find one from I think it was from the DBP.
Okay, because we want to be careful, right? Because people make the mistake sometimes of saying, send me the following forms. Your association's never under an obligation to send you anything. So we want to make sure that the form says, I want access to the following records. So let's assume that your first letter said that and they blew it. They never gave you access to the records. So now you want to send a second letter, certified mail, return receipt requested, saying, hey, guys, you ignored my first letter. I'm sending it again.
So he wants access rather than the hard copy sent to him.
Well, he can make copies of it when he gets there.
Right, but you can't just ask him to mail them to you.
Correct. Cannot ask the association to mail you anything.
So that's why you haven't heard from them.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I'm hoping that you didn't ask in your first letter to mail it to me, because the only thing you're allowed to ask for is access to. Okay? So let's make sure your first letter said that. Let's make sure your second letter says the same thing. And your second letter should also say, if you don't provide me access, I will be filing an arbitration action against you. Okay? So send another letter, certified mail. Again, give them 10 days. And say, if you don't respond this time, I will be filing an arbitration action against you.
Are you on the water, and is your building higher than 3 stories?
Yes, we're on the Gulf. And,
there you go.
It's an 18-story building.
Yeah,
wow.
You need
18
to know.
Story, yeah. There's a lot that you need to know. Smart of you to ask for these records. But you need to, again, send another letter out, certified mail, return receipt requested, threatening arbitration if you don't have access to the records again within 10 days. 10 days goes by, you can file an arbitration action. And if you sue and win, they have to pay a $500 penalty, reimburse you all your attorney's fees, and the arbitrator will enter an injunction requiring the association to turn over those records. Okay? So that's what you got to do. I wish you luck, Tom. All right, who else we got?
I had one,
Whoa, go right ahead. Quick.
One quick question.
Yeah.
So we have a five-member board, and our condo docs say between 3 and 7.
Right.
Who determines the actual number?
The number is 5. Okay. If it's a condo, if there's numbers, if there's language in your governing documents that say that there's no fixed set, like there shall be more than X but no more than Y, right? Something like that. There's no set number. Case law by arbitrators have interpreted that to mean the number is automatically set at 5 because the statute says if their documents don't provide for a number, the number is automatically 5. So I think your board is doing the exact right thing at 5. Okay? That's how it should be.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We did John on the panel. How about Janet in North Palm? How are you, Janet?
Hi, I have a question.
Sure.
If I understand it correctly, the surplus money in our budget cannot be put in the reserves, only in the operating account?
Let me put it this way. Show me, if I know this is 30 years I'm talking about this. 30 years I'm asking anybody to show me. Where does it say anywhere in the statute that the board has the right to take your money at the end of the year? It's the unit owner's money. It's common surplus. Where does it say that the board has the right to take that money and put it in the reserve account? As a matter of fact, suppose you voted down a reserve account. Suppose the unit owners actually voted it down. Suppose the unit owners only wanted partial funding, right? Where does it say the board has the right to take the excess money at the end of the year and put it in a reserve account? I've never seen it anywhere. I've asked accountants who work in this area. I know associations do it. Please show me where it's allowed in the statute. Nobody has ever been able to show me. So if that money rolls over, again, that should be applied to next year to reduce the amount of money that the unit owners pay next year because it's considered common surplus. It's everybody's money. Okay? I hope that answers your question, Janet. Real quick, Elizabeth in Fort Lauderdale. How are you, Elizabeth?
Thank you, Eric.
Sure.
First, I want to make a quick comment that in this building, it is the property management firm that aggressively convinced the owners you must vote for partial funding.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Instead of what? Instead of full funding or no funding?
We always voted for full funding,
Right.
and they aggressively sent out an email campaign. Remember to vote for partial funding.
Why?
It's in everybody's best interest.
Yeah, well,
Why is
really?
that? Why is partial funding in everybody's best interest and not full funding?
Let me just go one step further, and then we can see a better context because you have very limited time.
Right.
The property management company has now arranged for a legal retainer as of March 22, where they have given counsel the right to rely on false information, hold counsel harmless, and agree to pay counsel's legal defense fees for any wrongdoing suit. And this is being used as a means of retaliation. What can this be done about this?
Fire them.
It sounds bizarre, but why is the...
I can't fire them.
Well, the question is, why is the management company running the building, apparently, and not the board of directors?
That's a very good question. And I'm a forensic accountant. Frequently, people ask me to look at financials from
Right.
other buildings they manage.
Right.
Each and every single one has problematic.
What's the really quick? I'm out of time. What's the average age of the person on the board? Quick.
It's varied, but they're not running the board anymore.
What's the
They're
average
email-
age? What's the average age of the board members? Is
I'd
this?
say 60.
Yeah, well, it typically happens when you have older people on the board.
No,
The board should be running the association and telling the management company not what to do, not the other way around. Bottom line, recall the board if you have to. I just got that whisper in my ear that we are out of time, everybody. It's been an honor and a pleasure to be with you, especially on September 11th. I hope everybody has a healthy and safe week ahead, and we'll talk to you next week again on Condo Craze and HOAs. Karen and VJ.